Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Stormy's World. As you can see from the trees across the street and from my weeping willow here, we are very sunny, very bright, but a nice breeze out. We are still at 96, feeling like 100 and something outside. But today is going to be our last 100-degree day. Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful change of weather. But most people don't understand. We have things called lupus flares. And sometimes they're brought on by changes in weather. Sometimes they're brought on by stress, things in the environment, other illnesses that we have. And of course, mine has been brought on by stress from going through everything that we've been through the last couple of weeks with my brother, his last couple of weeks of life, and the week after his death, things I've been going through with his exes and their children and things like that. So, welcome to my world, guys. We have a beautiful breeze out here today. And like I said, it's still 96 degrees. It was 101, 102, I think, with a heat index of 110. I think we still have a heat index right now of 103 or 104. So I'm not going to be out here too long walking, but I'm waiting on one of my sisters from my congregation because they have so lovingly taken care of me this last week. See how beautiful my weeping willow is, guys? I was trying to come over here so I could get you guys a really good look at it. My weeping willow, Marco and I planted in 2006. And up above, up there used to be branches going off that way. And it was like about 50 feet tall. And the ice storms in February broke half that off. Then we had some tornadoes that broke some more off. So now my tree looks lopsided with only this part over my house. So my weeping willow doesn't look so tall anymore, but it's still beautiful. I'm thankful for my weeping willow because it's beautiful. And as you can see, we have beautiful trees all the way around. We have pine trees. We have all kinds of pretty trees all around us. But the main reason that I wanted to come on today was to share some more lupus facts. Lupus is not partial. It's not prejudice. It's going to pick on anybody and everybody. All races, genders, ages. You can be healthy and all of a sudden be hit with a really bad lupus flare. Or you can be sick, take some medicines, and then come up with lupus. There are different types of lupus. There is one that is called discoid lupus, which leaves bad scarring. There is a lupus that is called systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE. And that's the one I have. Which means that lupus can affect any and every and all organs of your body. And that's what's happened to me, guys. In 2005, I had a stroke. And in the fall of 2005, spring of 2006, I participated in a genetic study in the University of Oklahoma. They studied my blood and both of my sister's blood to see if they could find a common gene between the two of us, the three of us, to see if maybe it had some kind of genetic tie to us having lupus. especially since my mother had been testing for lupus also before she died with cancer, and they could never get a high enough ANA to give her an accurate diagnosis of lupus. But my doctor, after seeing my case, says my mother had full-blown lupus. We have 2 cousins on my father's side that had lupus, and they developed other kinds of diseases that they died from. Hashimoto's heart disease, something like that. They died from that and their lupus complications. I have another cousin on my dad's side that was being tested for lupus, and her doctor ended up saying that she has rheumatoid arthritis. On my mother's side, I have a cousin that has been told she has lupus, but she has no active symptoms. But everything in her blood work says she has lupus. Then I have another cousin on my mom's side who has lupus, and she's had more discoid lupus attacks than anything, and she has scarring on her face. So my sister's blood work showed that one had a gene from one parent, the other one had a gene from the other parent, but I had a gene from both of my parents. So therefore, that confirmed what my doctor already was thinking, that I've had lupus my whole entire life. And I was probably born with it, because since I was little, I have had trouble sleeping. I've had insomnia, I've had headaches, I've had muscle cramps. I had bouts to where I would start to run and I'd get fatigued so fast I could not even participate in regular gym at school. I was the only kid in junior high that had an excuse not to run around the block like everybody else. I also had a lot of trouble with my menstrual cycles, and that's one of the symptoms of lupus. Lupus will mess with your menstrual cycles. It can cause numerous miscarriages, hard to get pregnant, and if you do get pregnant, it's very hard to carry a baby full term. So they suggest that if you know you have lupus, to try to plan your pregnancies very carefully and stay with extreme doctor care, because it is very dangerous to have a baby when you have lupus. Of course, I didn't know any of those things back when I had those 8 pregnancies and only have 2 live births, and one was a set of twins. So, yes, lupus can really mess up your systems. And I'm very fortunate to have raised 4 children in my lifetime. The first 2 were my natural birth children, and the other 2 have been adopted. And I wouldn't change that for the world, because I love my babies. But I've lost a lot of babies. I've lost a lot in my lifetime, and it was all because of lupus, and I didn't know that before I had my strokes. And I had lupus, and they did a bunch of tests to find out what was going on and what was happening, and they confirmed that I did have this genetic type of lupus that I've had my whole entire life. I've always had a butterfly rash. You know, I'd go to family reunions, and all my aunts, oh, look at her little rosy cheeks, they're so beautiful. But they didn't realize that that was a major sign of having lupus or an autoimmune disease. So therefore, it was ignored for years and years. So if you have children in your life that have a really rosy butterfly rash on their face a lot, you might want to go get them checked out, because it could be an autoimmune disease, i.e. lupus especially. If you have young girls that are in their menstruation cycle time and they're not regular and they're having trouble, you might want to go get them checked out just to make sure that everything is okay. I was always anemic, always had trouble keeping my blood up. I could not take iron pills because that messed with my stomach. It would cause my stomach to bleed. So therefore, why am I taking iron pills if I'm going to be bleeding out anyways? So that was a big thing that I had to deal with in my teenage years, because everybody else was having fun and everybody else was running around, and I couldn't do all those things because I was always weak and always tired. Another thing that you always want to remember is to stay hydrated, guys, because dehydration will cause you to have extra muscle cramps, extra headaches that you don't have just from having lupus. Lupus can affect everything. My hair falls out because I have lupus. My nails broke because I have lupus. My teeth have been broken because they were not because I had cavities or anything, but just because my bones and my joints and everything, and my nails and my hair and my teeth have been damaged because I don't have enough of the vitamin B and vitamin D in my body that I needed to keep them strong. So they would break easy, and so I've lost my teeth because of that. That has affected me because I used to have a beautiful smile, and I miss that beautiful smile. I have trouble eating because my teeth are missing in places that I need them to be able to eat right. It's painful. It's not pretty. I don't like it. I don't smile. I don't smile like I used to. And let me tell you, it took a lot of encouragement from a few of my fellow YouTubers to actually get on and start talking to you guys about lupus and what it can cause for you to have to go through. Lupus can cause severe cycles in your life. Pain causes depression. Depression causes all kinds of stuff. So it's really hard because you never know from time to time what is going to happen from one lupus flare to another. No two lupus flares are exactly alike. No two lupus cases are exactly alike. I might have this, and this, and you might have something completely different than what I have. So you can't say, well, just because this person has this, I don't have lupus because I don't have that. You still need to go get yourself checked out, guys, okay? Back in the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and even into the 90s, when my mom was living, lupus was considered a very fatal disease. It's still fatal. It can be terminal for a lot of people, especially if you don't take care of yourself or you don't know that you have it to take care of yourself. I have successfully been on treatments since 2002, 2016, and 17, 18, and 19 before COVID broke out. I was on a very good treatment that gave me my life back, guys. I was right at remission when COVID broke out. And thankfully, I'm right at remission again when my brother decides to up and pass away on me. I know that it's because of this treatment that I'm on now. It's something called Safnello. I know that's the only thing that's gotten me through the last 8 months, last 8 months without having an extremely bad lupus flare. One that put me out of commission or one that put me in the hospital. So I want you guys to know lupus can be treated and you can have a halfway decent life even if you have lupus. You just have to learn how to go with the punches. It's going to be a roller coaster for a while until you get yourself on treatment that works, because that's what happened to me. I was on 3 or 4 different treatments the first couple of years. I had 2 or 3 strokes and a couple of pulmonary embolisms in those first 5 or 6 years of me being diagnosed with lupus. Before that, I was treated for everything in the world and nothing ever worked because they were treating my symptoms, not my disease. They never found my disease. I've been treated for gout. I've been treated for arthritis. I've been treated for depression. I've been treated for chemical imbalances. I have been treated for everything imaginable. Gastric problems. I have had asthma, bronchitis. I have pleurisy almost every single winter, at least once or twice. My cartilage has broken in my ribs, in my chest, up in here, and my ribs. When I coughed one time because I choked, because I have thyroid nodules that grow, because it decides to want to mess with my thyroid too. And I was choking on water, believe it or not. I drank a sip of water, I started choking. And whenever I started coughing, I heard a big pop, and I went to the doctor because it hurt really bad. I wanted to make sure I didn't pop a rib out of place or something, and come to find out they checked and I had broke and torn all the cartilage in my chest. It took months and months and months to heal, guys. But at least I know what caused it, and I know how to try to keep from things like that happening again. When I start coughing, I always hold my chest. I never let my chest go because I don't want for that to happen again, and it could happen again. I have a hiatal hernia, and that's where most of my stomach is, in my chest cavity instead of down in my abdominal cavity where it's supposed to be, because one of my treatments caused me to throw up a whole lot, and I wasn't eating very much. So the excessive vomiting, very little food contents, allowed my stomach to go up in through a hiatal hernia, which is around my esophagus and my diaphragm. And last year I was going through a lot of problems with that hiatal hernia because every time I would eat, my stomach was putting pressure on my lower ventricle of my heart, causing my blood pressure to go down too low. So that's another thing you need to be careful with. Lupus can cause you to have blood clots. Lupus can cause you to have excessive vomiting, nausea, fatigue, migraines, muscle cramps, bone cramps. It can cause you all kinds of problems, guys. So this is my part 2 on lupus facts and advice. So hopefully this will help somebody out there answer a few questions. They have updated blood work that they can do now to test you for lupus. The doctors out there know a whole lot more about lupus today than they did back when my mom was trying to figure out what was wrong with her in '94. So I want to tell you thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for being here with me, and you all have a great day. Bye-bye.